So I can either come in here with a countersink and deburr it that way, or I can come in here and it's kind of like a drag knife deburring tool. And by paying attention to where on the knife blade I'm dragging, you know, if I push it way in here and drag it, I'm going to be cutting more on this outer edge. If I hold it back here closer to the tip, I'm cutting inside the bore. And also too with how much, you know, wrist action I give it there too. As soon as I shut the camera off and walked away, it dawned on me, not going to be able to see that at all once those rollers are in there, so I might be able to get the burrs off with this. Now, I'm pretty sure in the professional world they would have thrown this thing in a tumbler. I could have also thrown it in the sandblast or whatever and cut those off with the just with the abrasive and stuff like that. So, but this isn't one of those shops. All right, rat tail file, because it looks like a rat tail. Go figure. Okay, now I still have a very small, very light T up here. Let me put that back on, and I can still just make out the R over there. So that's the way we did the measurements and that stuff, so I know this is the top. Still got a little burr in there, huh? Apparently not much of one. So there's either burr down here, or this one's got a slight twist in it. That one's obviously good. But now that I'm thinking about it, you know, I had a hard time, you know, I had to open one of these rollers up more because it didn't seem to want to fit either of them. So, well, let's try the other. Let's try this one in that hole. Yeah, I think it's slightly off. Not sure why, not sure which way. Alright, the hole itself seems to be moved back that way some. Oh. Apparently I just have to find the right sweet spot. Nice. Okay. So you know what I'm going to do? Since I know they'll do that, let's just put a little mark on there just to save me from having to find those again. Now let's see how this goes in. Oh man! Ah! Ooh, that was just a little tight. That one's perfect. Yay! Okay, finally. A little bit more boring. And it seemed to come down to more... Now it's going to bind up on me again. Alright. Oh, and the witness lines are lined up. How about that? This side, no problem. So, now what I'm going to do is go ahead and put some grease on the axles, put it back together, and then stake the... well, actually I don't really want to stake them just yet, do I? No, I think I'll put a little grease in them, because the force isn't going to push the axles either way. I just got to make sure to check them, you know, when I go to press it. So, yeah. Next up, grease, and then let's do a test press. So, just about ready to do it. I think because of there's a slight bow to it that way, I think I'm going to bend it like this. Now, I'm still going to go ahead and cut it to the 8 inches. If I put that on there and I go ahead and mark the center line as well, then that would make more sense. And really, it's only about the center line I need, you know, because then I can just line it up here. The center on this is not equal left to right, so that's the deal there. You know, as you can see here, one side's way longer. Okay, so that one's set. We'll go see if this one bends. If this one bends, then I guess I'll cut and drill the other one tomorrow. And see what it does. If you notice, I did have to stake it because that axle kept turning and I kept losing, it kept binding up on me again. So rather than fight with it anymore, I just staked it in the one spot that it would allow this to rotate freely. All right, let's. So I got it lined up. I got it pushed against the back there to make sure it's parallel, you know, this way. I think we're ready to go. Cross your fingers, boys and girls. I gave it that extra push at the bottom there because I wanted to flatten that piece back out. So, that flattened back out. I don't see any scarring or damage. Now the question is, how hard or easy is it to get this out? Let's go take it over to the bench so I don't drop it on my toe. Alright, I haven't tried this yet, but I was thinking, hey, you know, I could put it in the vise, or yeah, just squeeze a little of the load off it there. And does this piece pop back out? Might be kind of a pain from one part to another, huh? And I'm sure that's because of the way it bends and then when it has to flatten back out. So, oh, there we go. Just give it a little spread. Okay, so this is what I was talking about before with it ending up with a bend in it there. Now the question is, can I squeeze that in the vise without bowing this? Let's see. But beautiful, huh? Look at that. No scarring whatsoever. No no marks or evidence that this even was used. Ah, nice. Okay, let's try the vise. Let's do it this way and see what happens. Oh, that's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. It bent perfectly flat. That's awesome. I'm tickled pink with that. I don't mind this bend. The difference could have been in the, you know, in the die or whatever. I'm not exactly sure. Of course, now I have a piece that I have to cut the pieces out and drill it and that stuff. So, all right, I spared you all the. I went ahead and cut it all out. Drilled it. It took not even 10 minutes. So I spared you all of that stuff. Doesn't really matter whether I put it in this way or that way. Easier to line up the center line there, so. And I guess I'm going to have to pull it against this edge because, well, no, it'll go against either edge, so. Alright, let's see. I tightened that up a little bit more. See if it was make it a little easier to come out, and it did. Okay, so you can see a little deformity here. All right, and it bent this beautifully, bent that to 90 degrees, pretty darn close. Well, looking at one angle, looking at it like this, it didn't bend it at 90. It's skewed this way, so it'll have to get bent back. You know, so this end didn't bend quite as tight because it didn't. This side wasn't strong enough to push it over. So, you know, it might be the kind of thing where I could cut this notch. That wouldn't affect anything. I could have this cut and I could have the hole cut. But you could tell from the dimpling here, it didn't like the hole either. So, I got a feeling, and there's no point in bending these myself out of 3/16 if I get the 2x4. In the meantime, I don't have the 2x4, so I think I'm going to proceed with bending up a couple of these and getting busy with finishing some arms. So, I'm not surprised about this at all. I don't know how I would fix it and make it work, but the bending die, wow, that just really did the job on the other one, the U. So, it was a success. Was it worth the time for this? Probably not. Most of the crap I do isn't. Oh well. Alright, so in the vise, I went ahead and I put it over the anvil back here and tapped that bend out of this piece, and then clamped it in here and bent this to more of a right angle. So now, about the last thing left is to get that back. That's pretty close. It's not perfect, but will it work? Will I accept it? There's the real thing. It would work. I just don't know if I'd accept it. Hey, interesting little tidbit here. You know, I bent these up with the bending die, and I got to looking at it. You know, and I was comparing it, going, okay. Why the difference in height? And then if you look at these two sides here, you know, that's way off. I guess if you can see that, I'm not sure how bright it is over there. So then I got to looking at it, and what happened was right here I have the mark for where I needed it centered on the die. You know, right there. Well, the problem is when it pushed down, because this bent so easily, it shoved it over, and I didn't notice that it slipped, and then it bent it in the middle. So that's why. So that one's just complete scrap, basically. And you know, I was thinking, okay, well, I could laser cut these two notches and this, and have the generic shape, and then put the hole in the cut in later. And it's like, why pay for that? Because these cuts here are super simple. So if I have to do the drilling and the cutting here, I might as well just do the whole thing. So this one is bent correctly if you compare it to the other one. Maybe easier to just do that upside down. Okay, so you can see that I'm a hair long on both, which isn't bad because I needed to get the sway bar up a little bit extra. Oh, excuse me, extra anyway. So, you know, I'll bet the same thing happened to this one too. Oh, not quite so bad. Pretty close though, because that was one that I had cut first and then bent. So anyway, just thought that was kind of interesting. It slipped like that.